Well, bringing you this now, the situation in Diepsloot is calm this morning following a week of violent anti-crime protests. The protests turned deadly with the killing of a Zimbabwean national in a suspected vigilante attack. The Johannesburg Metro Police Department beefed up its presence over this past weekend, and the JPD now says things have quietened down. Nqobile Madlala, of course, the eNCA reporter, is there this morning to give us an update on what she sees and hears. And Nqobile, good morning to you. Hopefully you're keeping warm out there, colleague. It's extremely cold this Monday morning. But from where you stand, what are you hearing on the ground, particularly about the situation in Diepsloot?
Ultimately, it's relatively quiet coming in. You could just see there's not much activities on the road, and of course you can say that's also contributed by the fact that it's also raining, so people are keeping warm and staying home. But from where we are standing, it looks quiet. I mean, we know what has happened from the past week, even with the minister coming in and introducing some of the tactical forces to come on the ground, as well as some of the immigration people coming on the ground. So a lot more people on the ground. You can see people are going about with their day, but not so much of that conflict that we saw much earlier on. But let's bring in some of the leaders in the community who would know this area much better. So we understand that there were a lot of protest action happening. This was last week, we understand, and a lot had occurred at the time. Perhaps just brief us, are you happy with what's happening now on the ground with the minister having brought in some of the special forces as well as police presence?
As the community leaders and community members, we are very much happy about the presence of the police and all what is happening in Diepsloot. At least they have bring some order. And we are very much happy that these things are happening after the protest that was led by the leadership of the township. And for your information is that, you know, when the media talks about this thing of the killings, they normally, focus on one Zimbabwean national that was killed on that particular night. And I want to bring this to the attention that indeed we feel sorry about what happened by Elvis Nyati. It was never supposed to be happening, but criminals took advantage of the situation on that particular day, and condolences to the family, and we don't want to condone such actions. But the reality of the matter is that the killings of Diepsloot have been happening for quite a long time, even before that particular weekend. From where we are standing here, 2 bodies were found at some stage, and these 2 individuals were never killed walking in the street. These are the people who were tracked out of their shacks and be killed, by criminals. And by us going to the street, we're simply saying we cannot live like this in the country of our birth, whereby people will be tracked from their houses and be killed like animals. So with what is happening now, we are very much happy.
All right. And let's talk about the fact that there's some families that had funerals that were happening this weekend. How are the families that had lost some of their members feeling? Have you spoken to them?
We have spoke with some. It's very sad, to be honest, to lose, any family member in such a manner. These people who were brutalized, who were killed, even those who were injured, are human beings too. And we have been in touch with the community, the family members. And it is very sad. As much as we are feeling sad about Elvis, the same feeling must go to the very same people who have lost their individuals. Over the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, there were funerals outside the province and inside the province, whereby these people were buried. So we want to bring these killings to the end. We just want to talk to our people. We do understand that we've got foreigners in Diepsloot who have come legally, and those who have come illegally and have never, opted to be criminals. We want to join hands together and bring peace and harmony in our community.
And lastly, I mean, this is not the first Diepsloot shutdown, of course. Tell me, how has that changed from the first time you had a shutdown and the second time that you had a shutdown? Do you feel like the police have done their work this time?
They are trying, but the minister told us that these police officers, they will be here for 3 months, of which 3 months is not enough. But we'll be following them and check whether after 3 months things will be better or what. But of what happened last time, the minister promised the same thing in 2020, and immediately thereafter life goes back to worse situation, whereby Diepsloot becomes a place whereby a person of your nature and my nature cannot be able to live in. But let's hope for this time around whether these 3 months will bring some changes. But it's not enough. will want, a permanent solution, because the expectation is that after 3 months things will go back again to the situation whereby these criminals are taking advantage of the situation.
All right. Thank you very much. Lefangala, they're speaking to us about the issue in Diepsloot, while you're hearing from some of the leaders, of course, saying that 3 months may not be enough, but they want a permanent solution. But they're saying because this is not the first time that there has been this shutdown, they would like to see more happening, and of course they are going to be monitoring on the ground. But interestingly, they're saying that they want to hold hands with some of people who are foreign nationals, who are legal immigrants in the country. They would like to hold hands with them and fight the scourge of crime that has been on the ground in the area.
Absolutely, and it's understandable, Nqobile, that they would want a more permanent solution, because the crime, is not just going to vanish like that. More, of course, presence, visibility from the SAP is needed in a much more long term. So understandably, sort of understanding where, of course, that leader is coming from. But thank you so much, colleague Nqobile Madlala, out in Diepsloot, just managing, of course, and tracking down developments post, of course, the unfortunate events that have been taking place this past couple of days in Diepsloot.